How is forgive me if I look extra rough and ready. I have just been up at the top of a mountain to see some megaliths, which I'll talk about later, literally in the jungle. Now, this is my third day on the road in beautiful Sri Lanka, and I'm falling all over the place. And last night I had one of the best meal I've had here so far, and that's saying something. And it was like a noodle dish. Everything is curried, pepper, chili kind of thing, always hot, and it had like fish in it and vegetables. And along with that, I had this, it was like a tempura cuttlefish. That was absolutely beautiful. And I washed that down with a lassi, but the Sri Lankan lassi is different than the Indian lassi. It's not made with yogurt, it's made with buttermilk instead. So the thing is, it's much lighter. So you can drink it like almost like a kind of a smoothie. It doesn't have the same thickness that the yogurt brings to the Indian lassi, although it has the mango and the cardamom and the honey, like the one I got anyway. Anyway, that was fantastic. Excuse me. This morning I got up at 5:30 a.m. and I got onto the roof of the hotel in Anuradhapura, and I did a morning salutation and to the rising sun. Then I went downstairs and there was a traditional Sri Lankan wedding being performed that was like unbelievable. They had like this like troupe in traditional dress and drummers and acrobats, and the groom was dressed like a warrior with a sword, and it was just mind blowing. They were playing music, and I got it all on video anyway. But it was how a wedding event should be. Like, it was magical. Like there was a sense of magic there. There was a sense of otherworldliness. And if we're going to have a proper pagan revival in Europe, we've got to get away from this like bullshit nonsense, like the Wiccan, like some Wiccan goddess or some alcoholic druid doing a hand fasting thing for two personality disorders that are trying to prove something. It's not. There's no dignity in that. That's pure trash. And it's totally made up by Wicca anyway, so it's bullshit. So we need to start looking at the idea of if they're performing pagan wedding festivals again, that they have to be in that style, because that's what they would have been like. There was even a kind of a transgender element to it. The men were done up like women, which is so similar to the satyrs of Scandinavia, the pagan Scandinavia. So there was real food fodder for future dialogue and discussion, and some beautiful footage on that I got. This morning I went to the temple at Anuradhapura, if I pronounced that correctly, and I made a sacrifice of lotus flowers at the temple, and instead of praying in the Buddhist style, which I've done the Buddhist, the Hindu, but I decided to give veneration in the European pagan manner. And that was a very beautiful experience. And the Buddhist monk gave me this thing here. How is that for in the European? The Om, the Morrigan, and you have to walk along it in bare feet. So that was kind of difficult because it was so hot and the stones were like boiling. You can see I'm absolutely sweating here. It's sweltering on the interior of the country. Then we went to this place called, which I've been looking forward to a lot, called R Gala. It is a Machu Picchu type megalithic infrastructure. It is astounding. There's very little of it on the internet. It's just unbelievable. You literally have to break your bollocks getting to it. You have to hike up through a leopard, cobra, and black bear infested jungle. You have to have a guide. It's not safe otherwise. It's like Machu Picchu meets, I don't know, a Lovecraftian encyclopedian ruin. It's just unbelievable. And again, you got the multi-phase thing of the earlier megalithic structure with the interlacing, Peruvian type stonework. It's there. I got it on camera, and I climbed to the best example, which is at the very top. And again, it's built upon stones, which are obviously from the megalithic culture. I've got the guide on camera saying there was a veneration there 5,000 years ago. Then there seems to be kind of a Bronze Age thing where the the interlacing stones, and even a bit much earlier, and then on top of that the Buddhist infrastructure. And the Buddhists again did what the Catholics and the Christians did in Europe. They dehumanized the native people and called them devils who were into blood sacrifice and human sacrifice, and wiped it all out basically. But even the Buddhist stuff was mind-blowing. There was I'll show you this, there's like an infirmary, and it looks so much like the Hagaquim temple in Malta, right down to a stone bowl. That now, like, and in Hagaquim in Malta, they tell you that the stone bowl was for collecting the blood of the people they cut their throats during their pagan sacrifice. Well, we know for a fact here at R Gala that it was used for medicinal herb making, health oils, and you want to see the infrastructure they built for curing people. It's astounding. I have some phenomenal footage of that, and it has a massive viaduct, water reserve tank that's like, again, a megalith that was only fed by the rains coming down during the monsoon and filling this thing, which is enormous. It's massive. And I think it's one of the biggest in the world of its kind. You know, like, it's multi-steps down into it. Again, you'll see it on the video. And it's a hell of a hike up there. It's not an easy one. And they have these huge trees that have vines coming out of them that they're like something from Lord of the Rings, and they collect water. And if you get a knife and stick it in these massive roots that they have, water will spew out like it's coming out of a town utility water supply. Unbelievable. And when you get up to the top part of what they call the library, again, it's multi-phase megaliths from an earlier culture. Then the interlacing stones. We don't know how old this is. You know, they're the same problem here we have in Europe. The archaeologists saying it's only recent. You also get in Egypt as well. And then the Buddhist infrastructure, which you know, was probably the 1st or 3rd century BC. Still pretty ancient, that, you know, we're talking about like early Roman Empire. And there's megalithic bridges that they say are original, and there's parts where you're climbing up. I'm not kidding. The steps are that wide. The steps are that wide, right? And if you tripped or fell, you're fucked. It's like 500 foot down into the jungle to be eaten by the cobras, bears, or leopards, or 500 foot down the other fucking side, and you'll be screwed completely. And I have to say, going up, I'm running up it like, I'm pretty, you know, I can go climbing all day long. I know I'm an asthmatic, but that doesn't affect my strength. I'm actually a strong fucker. And I ran up this thing like two camera bags, running up, and coming down, it was only that I realised that there was like that much between me and oblivion. You know, it's often much more difficult going down than up, because you're not aware really of the height you're up, because you're looking upwards and you're all excited about getting to this amazing place. At the very top, you have this sort of panorama of the jungle, which is absolutely vast. And you just sit there and you hear the woodpeckers in the trees, the monkeys all around, all the parrots, and these beautiful butterflies that are huge, with on the colours like you wouldn't believe, and the lizards running around, colours you would not believe. And it's like being it's like Rivendell in Lord of the Rings, but in Asia. It's just, I started crying. It was so beautiful. I had to stop. I had to start crying. I was weeping at the beauty of the place. I didn't think in my life I'd ever see a place that looked like this. It's astounding. And so it's Sigiriya tomorrow, but it'll be a tough act to follow where I just was at R Gala, because there was very few tourists there, and mostly it was locals. Sigiriya, which is just like literally just outside the front door here, up is very popular tourist attraction because of UNESCO World Heritage, and you know what that means. But just to show you I'm not bullshitting, look at my room. Check out my shower. The mosquito net on the bed. That's like so colonial. And there it is, right outside my window, the jungle. And that's where I'll be tomorrow morning for my early morning walk. Take care and look after yourselves, and more to come.